and today I am so excited because I have a good friend of mine who I absolutely adore, and I have a secret crush on him. Don't tell him, okay? He doesn't know, but he's going to keep it quiet. Don't comment on it. Just he's amazing, okay? He's hilarious. You've seen him on Last Comic Standing. He was on season 5 and he was a finalist. And today he's here to talk about his comedy career and give advice to up-and-coming and experienced comics because he's been in the business forever. Well, let him talk about it. So here it is, my good friend Rocky Laporte. Hi, Rocky.
Hi, Grace. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get right to it. Okay.
And Grace, one thing, I shut my phone off so the pizza place don't call. Just
okay.
Like last time, okay?
So last time, for everybody that didn't watch last time he was on the show, he had ordered a pizza and the pizza was late. And in the middle of the show, we got the call and he took the pizza call and we learned all about his pizza order. It was very interesting.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm not doing it on my phone this time.
It was hilarious.
I learned. You're teaching me. Thank you.
I'm here to teach you. Yes. Do not answer the phone. So what happened with the pizza that day?
It worked out good. It got cold because we were doing the show, but it worked. I finally got it.
It's all my fault, of course.
It worked out good.
Oh my God. So let me ask you, the first thing I want to know is what propelled you to do stand-up?
It probably started back when I was a kid, or in school, I know when all the other kids would get in trouble, disrupt the class or whatever. I would find though, the teacher actually she would laugh too, but she didn't want, so I knew, I go, if I'm getting an adult to laugh, I'm not just entertaining the back of the room, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So she would always tell me, most of the kids got sent to the principal's office. She would tell me go in the hall, But I'd be out in the hall thinking of more stuff to do, for the second show. You know what I'm saying?
Like an 8 p.m. and a 10 p.m. show.
Yeah. I just had a little break. The hall was my green room.
Oh my God.
So, I don't know. I just found out, when I made adults laugh, I must have been onto something. And it got me out of trouble. If I was ever in trouble, if I can make an adult laugh, I'd get out of trouble,
Yeah. Do you still get out of trouble by making people laugh?
Yeah, I try. I try. Don't always work, but I try.
It doesn't always work. I know. Yeah. When you're a kid, you're cute, and they're like, "Oh, it surprises me when I see a kid that has a good sense of humor."
Yeah.
It's go ahead.
Was it one time? I think this was maybe my aha moment. I remember I was probably about 8 years old, and we're sitting at a big table at my aunt's house, and all my relatives were there, and they're all older, and I don't know what I was saying. I was saying something about being Italian or whatever, and these people were howling, they were actually banging on the table and brought tears to their eyes. And that's when I felt I go, I felt like I did a magic trick. I go, I'm possessing this secret thing that I have that I can make people laugh. It just felt like a wonderful thing, I don't know how to best describe it.
No, absolutely. I get it. And you're naturally funny. So it wasn't like you were writing jokes at that age. You were just naturally being you.
Yeah.
So you're a natural comedian because some people, strive a little bit more to, right. And so you're you're funny. You'll make me laugh. You make everybody laugh. I don't know, something about you. You have an aura of funniness around you.
Thank you. Do you like my aura, Grace?
I love your aura. I've loved your aura for 10 years, Rocky.
I know.
But you live in Chicago and I live in LA. So.
It's 150 out there by you guys right now.
I know it's, oh my God, 120. I saw a friend on Facebook. He posted 119 degrees.
Wow.
That's brutal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's you can crank your AC and it's still hot.
One time I was in this hotel in Canada, and I was in the wintertime, so I go put the heat on a little bit. I put it on 70. It was Celsius. It wasn't Fahrenheit. It's 200 degrees in real life. But the water in the toilet was boiling. Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah. So, know your.
That's insane. I have 2 ice packs.
Oh, look at that.
I have to.
You sitting on them? What are you doing? Where did they go?
Oh, you don't want to know. I'm not disclosing that. That's like they have to pay for me to tell where I'm putting them.
Oh my God.
And my hair is flowing like Beyonce here because I have a big fan. So yeah, but even then I'm hot.
Well, 119. Yeah, it's hard to. Right, it's hard to beat.
There's nothing.
Just sit in the refrigerator. Do the show in the refrigerator. Just sitting right? With the door open, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, forget it. So I love that you knew from an early age that you were funny, and how that kind of magical moment that you discovered that you were funny. And so you chose, your path was in the beginning. Did you always do clean comedy? Because that's your thing. You do clean comedy, right?
Yeah, pretty much. When I started out, you do a lot of amateur stuff, and in the beginning, I had a little bit of like stupid stuff, like a couple swear words and stuff. But I found out that you get much further. Like some of the older guys told me to go, hey, look, you're going to be working in clubs the rest of your life if you don't get get TV credits. And the way to get TV credits is to be clean, like get some, do Leno, do these shows. And you know what? You can do corporate stuff where you can make in a night what you're making in 3 weeks in a club. So,
wow,
it's a better way to make a living, I think.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. Do you swear like behind the scenes, or? I'm not going to say. It's up to you to say.
You said not to swear on your show. I was just going.
No, you can swear. You can swear. It's just whatever your brand is, what you want to put up there.
No, I'm pretty clean. I like to keep it clean.
You like to keep it clean, yes.
Yeah, but I like some adult humor, but just not like too gross, unless
No, it's gross humor is not. It's not cute.
No.
I don't like it. It's lowbrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you have a persona, right? You have a point of view that's, you can say a character, comedic character.
No, I really am dumb.
That was a fox. Yeah, right.
Is that where you're going? No.
Yeah, sure.
I'm a dumb Italian guy.
Right, so you play that.
I'm not even kidding, Grace. One year, they would give us these Iowa tests, and they would test you where you were, like every year, your level. And I was always like in 5th grade, like I had like 8th grade reading comprehension and all that. But it was just like, schoolwork didn't interest me at all. Like there was one year, I'm not even kidding. I want to find my report card. I think it was 5th grade. I got straight Fs. Like I got all Fs and they passed me. Like how did they? This is Chicago public school system, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they thought, like, this kid's getting too big for the desk, or we don't want him hanging around these little kids. Like, I don't know. It's just like they go, go ahead. You're going to be on, what do they call it? Not on trial. Like, you're on, I don't know, like a probation thing.
Probation kind of thing?
Yeah, to see how you do, like, or whatever. But, then they sent me to summer school. I'm like, I'm not going to regular school. Like, what makes you think I'm going to show up at the Southern joint like in the summer? It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
No.
I love here. We have a comment from Jimmy De La Valle. I love him.
Hey, Jimmy. Yeah.
You know Jimmy? Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's great. I'm producing a show and he plays my husband.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
and
good.
He says, of course, he swears in real life. He's Italian.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm
75% Italian, 75.5%, I don't know, but 3/4 Italian, so I know the feeling. Yeah, they all, is it true they all, right? Italian Americans too, right?
It's so funny. One time in church, my grandma never did. Well, we're in church, right? Me and my brother were probably like 4 and 5.
Yeah.
We're in the pew, and he elbows me in the ribs, right? And I go, cut it out. And I go, cut it out, you ass. And I elbowed him back,
Yeah.
And my grandmother, she cracks me and she goes, you don't swear in church, you little bastard. I swear. Yeah.
That's the best. I love it.
I'm looking around like, is anybody hearing this? Yeah,
That's
don't swear in church,
hilarious.
you little bastard.
That's great. That's so Italian. They do
Yeah,
that. Those switches, it's
yeah,
like a switch show
yeah.
almost. Yeah, I know. They do that all the time. My mom was insane. It's just so funny. So I always ask people, like, how do you prepare? Do you have any kind of pre-show rituals? Do you get in the zone? How do you do that?
It depends. Sometimes if I'm hanging out with my buddies, just you're just talking with them back in the green room and they relax you and all that. And then other times, if it's like a big show or you're around people you don't know, like you need to be alone, like just get in your head, walk back and forth. You just need to get in your space.
Right.
You do that, Grace?
Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I kind of like center
Yeah,
myself.
right.
Yeah, to this, yeah, transition into
Yeah,
that zone, right?
right.
Yeah, but I think the more you do, I don't know if this happens to you, but the more you do it, the less time it takes you to get in the zone. It's like
Yeah.
the switch is faster.
Yep. Yep.
It's like you can do it any moment, right?
Yeah, when I was, when you're working every night, like every night, you don't even have to think about it. It's almost like
Right.
you're an autopilot, But
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. So, what was the best show and the worst show you ever had in your career?
I had an audience sue me for pain and suffering one time. I don't know. I had a couple. I think when I did the Tonight Show, that was good. Like I was really nervous in the beginning, but I ended up getting a standing ovation, and that was amazing. Like that was amazing. And then I don't know. There's a couple shows you get standing ovations, and then I did a couple of the Montreal Comedy Fest, and it's called Best of the Fest. Like they tape it and you do it in this big, beautiful, like 2,000 seat theater, and they're great audiences up there, and those were some good shows, but I don't know. The small ones where I've done like those 8 people in a lunch cafeteria. I think it was the University of Iowa. It was in the middle of winter. These kids were doing their homework, and somebody thought it was a good idea to bring a comic in. And none of them even looked up at me. They were just like,
You're interrupting my flow.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, and there's always those, like those ones where you go, man, what am I doing? Like, you just want to. Larry, I don't know if you know Larry Bubbles Brown, and
Yeah.
he's a San Francisco comic, and Will Durst, who's been around forever. Well, I was they were up in Tahoe the week before I was.
Yeah.
And now this is what I heard. The guy working the room was telling me this. And usually the first show Saturday night's the best show, right?
Yes.
They said, and these guys have been both doing it over 30 years. They said that first show Saturday night was so bad, they both wanted to quit the business.
Ooh, that's bad.
They didn't even want to do the second show or Sunday. Like they literally wanted to leave. That I heard it was that bad. And then the second show, they said it was unbelievable. It was great. Like, isn't that amazing? Like how each crowd's its own animal, and they're either buying what you're selling or they're not.
Wow. By the way, Jimmy again is like saying, right, Rocky, in the TV show I created with David Riberi and Jimmy plays my husband, as my cousin or uncle. Would you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Excellent. So I'm glad Jimmy brought it up.
Yeah, thanks. Me and Jimmy, he wrote me a while ago. We were supposed to do something, but then we never connected. I forgot. I think he was doing some Italian show, and I was back and forth between LA and Chicago, and we never were able to hook up. But I've heard a lot of great things about him over the years.
Oh, he's great. He's a lot of fun to work with too.
Oh, good, Grace.
Super professional too. Like yeah, he's great.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Okay, I want to ask you this. You were talking about like how this show made people want to quit, right? Did you ever have that experience where you wanted to quit? You're like, I'm done with this.
Usually every Sunday by the end of the week of the club after your 8th show.
You're like, I'm done. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
it.
and then you go home, then you realize you got to pay your rent. So then you got to go back out. You know, no. So I think it's a harder job than people think. You know, I think
Yeah.
you know, you got to travel all over to get to where you're going, and you work
Hmm.
an hour a night. But sometimes you got 23 hours to kill a day, like in a strange city, and
Yeah.
you're in hotels all the time, and it gets a little depressing. It ain't like you're a tourist all the time, you know. And I love making people laugh, but it's a harder job, I think, than people think. Like you always feel like you're giving, like you're constantly pushing out stuff, you know.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in creating, and you just burn up a lot of energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that hour is, and it's what goes with it, the traveling, the staying, like you said, 23 hours where like nothing to do. And that's exhausting for real.
Yeah,
No,
it
it
is.
sounds crazy, but it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird. And so I totally get it.
What
So,
was your worst show, Grace? What was your best and worst show?
oh, you want to ask me questions now?
Yeah, yeah.
I told you. I had a guy pull a knife. Well, this was like a bar in North Anaheim, and apparently it's more ghetto than South Anaheim, more dangerous. I didn't know that, so I went to a shitty bar to do a set just to break in some new material,
Right.
and there was a guy in the bar that had a knife in a sheath, you know.
Wow.
And nobody said anything. This is like crazy. Nobody said a word, and this guy was carrying a knife. So then I go up on the stage, and the guy's sitting right, it's a shit bar. So I'm here, and the guy's like 3-4 feet away. And so I'm like, hey, I don't know why he said this so dumb. Hey, is that a knife, or are you happy to see me? I don't know why I called it out. So dumb. And he goes, he doesn't say anything, and he pulls out the knife and he puts it on the table.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm like, let me call my mom. I'm just gonna ask her to prep my funeral because I'm gonna die tonight. I'm gonna
Wow.
die tonight. Yeah, I thought I was gonna die for real. And nobody would have said anything because he's carrying the knife. Nobody's saying a word about it. So I'm like, okay, think quick. And I'm like, hey, can I give you my ex-boyfriend's address? And
Holy cow.
apparently that made him respect me to the point where after the show, he's like, hey, you're very funny. And he hugged me.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
I was
looking.
going to kill you, but I changed my mind.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what that was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I remember this
That
girl,
was crazy.
there was this girl, Destiny. She was from California, or I think the Bay Area. And I believe at one show, some guy went after her with a knife. Like he tried to attack her on stage, and another comic. Yeah, if I remember that story right, that's what happened, you know?
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. It's a
There's some
scarier
nuts
time
stuff.
now. People are out of their minds right now, you know?
They,
Everybody's angry and everybody's mad. It's like, gotta lighten up a little bit, you know?
yeah, they need us. And I think one of my ass packs.
You say ass pack?
Ice.
Oh, is that what you said?
Well, like I said, I'm not going to get into
Now we know where you're putting them.
We established that, Rocky.
Oh, that's funny.
And my Beyonce hair, I love that. Yeah, it's like, oh my god. But even then, I feel like it's 100 degrees still. It's crazy. So another thing I wanted to ask you is the writing process, because that's a very important part. Obviously, it's 50% or more writing than anything.
Yeah.
So what is your writing process? How do you get your inspiration, and how do you sit down and write jokes by yourself or with other people?
Yeah, I try a couple times with other people, like friends of mine and all that. We'll kick some stuff around on the road, but sometimes I find like just stuff comes to you. Like it just like a lot of times I'll just read it. Like today, I think I was reading something. It said so I got an email. It said September is Pain Awareness Month. I'm like, I think I'm always aware of my pain, like not in September. You know what I mean? Oh, and it was National Pain Awareness Month, like as opposed to like I don't know, local or like,
Local.
and if it's like national, do we get a day off or something like that?
Oh, that's funny.
That's like how they go. It's National Airline Safety Week. I'm like, shouldn't every week be National Airline Safety Week? Like some of the headlines, they just write themselves. You know what I mean? Like I think comics just look at things different than other people. You know what I mean? I remember Todd Glass used to do a bit about people would have a sign up in there. It would say for sale by owner. And Todd goes like, who else is going to sell it? Like you go, hey, honey, the Johnsons, I haven't been using their boat too much. Like, why don't we get rid of it? But I think that's how comics look at things, right? Like they just look at things funny like that.
It's like a different way that our brains are wired.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You just see something different that is there every day. And there's some jokes you hear and you go, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Oh, that, right?
There was this one, I can't remember this kid's name, and I'm sorry for not giving him credit, but he had a great joke. He said, how many times have you been in a hotel and asked for a wake-up call, right? Like, you remember, like, back in the old days, you go, can I get a wake-up call? Like, this is before they had phones and all that. And I guess he says he asked the front desk for a wake-up call. And the lady goes, okay. She goes, you're 33. You're still living at home with your parents. and she's like, shall I go on? And he's like, no. And then he hangs up. Like, what a brilliant joke. You know what I mean? It was just, he just looked at it different,
Right. Yeah. Always. It's never and visually, sometimes I see things differently. I think they're one thing and they're another because our imagination just works.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I know. So you were in Last Comic Standing, right? And you were a finalist. So I really want to know about the whole experience. I would love to know first, like, how did you get the audition? Was it by appointment? Did your manager set it up, or
how
did that work?
At that time, that was season 8.
8? I'll put season 5.
I was on 8. I was on season 8. That's okay.
Okay. I said I probably, instead of 8, read a 5.
Okay.
See? Visually. That looks like a 5.
Well, you know what? Honestly, the first time I did it, I think Dat Fan won season 1,
Okay.
And then, do you remember that? When Dat Fan won?
Yeah.
So the second year, they asked me to come on, and I auditioned, and it went really well. And then I think I lost to a stripper that year. Do you believe that? Like, I swear to God, this girl was dancing around, and it's you don't mind losing to a good comic, but this not even comedy,
Oh my God.
So, but the good thing that happened out of that was the guys from the Tonight Show were there, and then they saw me, and I got the Tonight Show out of it.
Nice, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So then in season 3, they go, hey, we know Rocky got shafted a little bit, like let's have him come back, and I go, all right. So I think it was season 3, and I think I was in Arizona, and then I lost out to a guy. I don't know if you remember this year. He had a gorilla suit on. He was walking around in a gorilla suit eating a banana, and he didn't do any jokes. And I'm like, I can't believe, I'm not even losing the comics at this point,
Oh, I can't.
And I'm like, I'm not doing. Yeah. So I go, I'm not. So then, believe it or not, the year after that, they go, come on. I felt like an abused. Like, they go, come here. I'm not going to hit you. Like, they kept coming. They go, come on. I won't hit you this time. Come on back. That's how I felt. So they invited me back a third time, and I was doing really good. And I think I got into the top 10. But then I got a development deal with ABC. And I think there was an NBC show at the time. So then I had to drop out, So I think it was season 4 or 5. And I didn't get in the next couple of years. And then it was off the air for a while. And then when season 8 came back on, they called me up. And I originally didn't want to do it. I go, you know what? I don't mind if it's a level playing field, and the best person wins. I go, but this is stupid. It was more like a reality show. Do you remember they were putting people in the house in the beginning, and they were trying to get them to turn on? Yeah, that was like with Todd Glass and Kathleen Madigan and Tammy Pescatelli. Like they wanted conflict, And then they had you doing stand up in a laundromat and then on a bus. Do you remember? It was like, oh my God,
it was like the real world or something. Yeah.
And then that's not what we do. You know what I mean? Like that's Who goes out and go, I'm gonna go tell jokes in the laundromat. It's like, oh my God.
That's not good. Not a good situation.
No. So season 8, they go, hey, no, they go, Wanda Sykes is going to be the producer, and it's going to be great. It's going to be more level. It's going to be more about comics and blah, blah, blah. And then, I kind of found out that was half. Wanda was great, but it was a grind, Grace. And the one thing I didn't like we started off with 100 of us, and then it went down to 25, and then 10, and then I got in the top 5. They kind of pitted you against your friends, and I didn't like that. I didn't, because half these people,
Right.
And then you got to go out there and go, I think I'm funnier than, Joey Bananas or whatever. That it would be your, you know what I mean? And you had to pick someone and say it. And it's so they made it personal, and they wanted you to butt heads, and they wanted conflict. Most comics were not about conflict, right? We're about making people laugh and forgetting conflict and forgetting all this shit, So that I didn't like that part of it. And then, and I'm not, I hate to sound like I'm ungrateful or anything, because it helped my career and all that. But to be honest, it was a grind.
I bet
they were kind of pitting you against each other, which I didn't like. And I ain't saying American Gladiator, we're comics, And there's an old show reference. But and then the tour was brutal. It was a 3-month tour on a bus. Yeah,
on a bus. I remember I saw you when you came to LA, and you were exhausted.
We ping-ponged across the country. I think we did 70 cities, and it was brutal. Yeah, we were everywhere. Yeah, it was hard. And then you're on a bus every night traveling, and then doing these plays. We were showering in theaters and eating in the basement. Yeah, and in the beginning they didn't treat us that well, and we kind of had a mutiny in the middle of it. And then they go, okay, we'll get you hotel rooms, but we got to get to the city first. But they booked these cities right back on top of each other. So after the show, we would still have to get on a bus and drive all night, and then you might get into a city about 4 or 5 in the morning, and then go to bed. But you had to sleep in a bed at some point instead of on a bus. That just got old, after 3 months,
Yeah, and remember you were telling me that, that you were really, it wasn't a good situation.
No, we all hit the wall. It was pretty tough, But
that sounds really tough. Why would they not treat you right? I mean, that's so weird.
Money, man. We're like rented mules, man. They just drove us
wow.
And we're selling out 2,000-seat theaters every night, so somebody's making money. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys.
Us.
You're right. All right, we made $2 million off of you. Now shower at the theater.
Sometimes I feel comics, we're kind of like boxers or in the ring. We get in the ring, and we take the beating and do all the work, and then the promoters get the money off our back. I think it's kind of,
that is true.
Yeah.
With a lot of artists, I think, but especially comics, I think it's the hardest art form. And the hardest, the way we're treated. Yeah, we're not respected a lot.
No.
No, it's very sad.
We're rodeo clowns, you know what I mean? Seriously.
Yeah. I know. It's a shame. And now they need us more than ever, because we're healers. We really are.
Yeah. But you know what, Grace? Everyone's offended at everything you say now. You can't even say, they go, it's lighten up. Come on, man. We're not here to, right?
I know. And the pendulum has to swing back to kind of maybe in the middle, because if you start censoring people and the cancel culture, they call it, or whatever, it's
what's it called?
It's called cancel culture or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, there's no freedom of expression. And stand-up was kind of the last bastion of freedom of expression, and now it's not anymore. So,
and most comics, I don't think they write things to offend people. We do to make them laugh or think, or you know what I'm saying?
To shake people up sometimes too.
Yeah. Forget your problems in the everyday world, But man, I don't know.
We're misunderstood a lot.
Yeah, and you know what? People are focusing every day on what makes them mad, what offends. I'm why don't we think about what makes us happy? What makes us, you know what I'm saying? Why don't we focus on that?
There's a lot of fear going on, and I think that fear makes people act in really strange ways. like just an example of something silly. Like I live on a busy street in LA, and 3 a.m, you hear these people. I don't know how fast they're going. Like it's insane. And they're going fast down the street and making noise. And then not just one, like a bunch of them. It's like, what are you people doing? They're like angry and high, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so weird. People are really angry. Fear and anger are two sides of the same coin. So,
yeah. Well, we're all out of sync. You know what I mean? Like the world's out of sync. There's people not going, we don't have a routine no more. So we're getting into all kinds of mischief and we're doing things we normally wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would you ever think you'd be sitting on an ice pack like a couple months ago? You'd be
1, 2, 3, Rocky. I'm actually putting my arms on them. I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is what makes me happy now. 3 ice packs under my arms.
The little things.
Yes, I know. I really think that COVID has done that for us, the lockdown and staying home and all that. We appreciate things in a different way. Like priorities have changed.
Yeah.
For all of us. Yeah. And I think it's in a good way. It's really good because we're appreciating the smaller, the small things, the little things in life, the simple things.
Important things, yeah.
Yeah, because even traveling, like before we were traveling, you were traveling and, and now we're just forced to stay home and cook our own meals.
Yeah.
And, which I'm not very good at. I just put food together. Are you good to cook? Do you cook?
I made toast one time.
Well, you're the pizza. You know that. You make toast one time.
I can boil water. Oh, I try. I do what I can.
It must be tough. So how was the going back to Last Comic Standing, the audition process? I'm interested in knowing, like, if anybody wants to know how that went for you. So your manager got you the audition. How many times did you have to audition to get?
The first couple times, you remember, like, in the beginning, like, you had to stand in line outside these clubs in Hollywood. Like, you remember, it was in the daytime. The line was about 3 blocks long. And you're like, holy cow. I think the first year I had to do that. And then the next couple times, like, I got invited where you had a time, like, you just showed up at a time. But I've done all that with open mics, like, where you got to show up in the day, do like 2 minutes for a guy in a room so you can go on and do 3 minutes that night. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the thing. A lot of people don't know. It's like a tough road. I think it's easier now than it was back, when I started. Like, they
really
how through the ringer. The auditions were a lot tougher. There was this guy. I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, and everybody knows him, and I'm sure he'd admit his name was Lee Herlin, and he ran the Improv in Cleveland. And I loved Lee. I got along with him nice, but he used to make these people come, like, you'd have to come like 11 in the morning, and he wouldn't have anybody else in the room. And then you would go up on stage, and you would have to make him laugh. Like, it was just you and him in a room. And that was to get on at nighttime, like to do the show at nighttime. And I think he would purposely not laugh. And I go, Lee, like, why are you putting these kids through the ringer? And he goes, well, I want to see if they got what it takes. Like, if they could think under pressure, if, like, no one's laughing, if they just keep going. Like, I just want to see if they can crack, And you know what? Comedy, we're in that spot a lot, right? Like, where you go, oh, man, like, you get into a jam, and that's a little extreme, but yeah, that's what he would do. But
testing for character, really. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because it is comedy. That's a good point that you bring up, because it is about character. It is about not giving up, and it is about being brave and just keep going, even if it's not going well.
Yeah.
You just, it takes a lot to be a stand-up comic.
Yeah. Oh, it sure does. It ain't as easy as, and everybody thinks they can do it,
I know.
You're like, no, you can't. That's like, I can fly a plane. You're like, I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's like, no,
exactly.
No. Yeah.
I know. So then I want to talk about your experience. You had a development deal with.
I had a couple. I had one with
CBS
and Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
We shot a pilot. I had one a long time when I first went out to LA. It was with Republic Pictures. I don't know if you remember them. They used to do like all old like John Wayne movies, and like they would do all those old westerns.
Nice.
Yeah, and they signed me to like a little deal, like because they were trying to write something for me, and maybe pitch to a network. So I had a couple little deals, and then we had a development deal with CBS, and we shot a pilot. And then that year, what was it? I think the writers went on strike. And then a couple years later, I got another development deal with Disney ABC, and then the actors went on strike. And then that's when, I don't know if it was one, I forgot who went on strike first, the writers or the actors, but that's when they started doing all reality shows, you know what I mean? But like, what are the odds of that? The 2 years you get deals like this.
My God.
The industry shuts down. I wonder if I'm bad luck.
Yeah, I would say a little, but yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah,
I know. Would you? Well, there's always time to get another development deal. You never know. This industry is so weird.
It sure is, and it's how you're new again sometimes, and and a lot of those you see in a lot of like with a lot of successful people, like a lot of those kids that are on sitcoms when they're really young, like they get all messed up, like Danny Bonaducci and those people from those shows, like if you get success real early, like that could. That's why I wanted to wait till I was in my 50s to really hit it and become successful. I would have been a wreck now. I would have been on heroin and robbing drugstores, This is good. This worked out better for me.
That is hilarious. Well, I remember watching one of the shows where it was about you being the dad and you had 2 kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
Yeah, you know what? That show, I didn't want to shoot that. And they had my name on there. They call it the Rocky Laporte show. I go, listen, why don't you, let's name this something else? Because I wasn't crazy about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was actually written for another comic, and the script was already written, and then they found out that the guy didn't want to do it. He couldn't act. So they just kind of plugged me into a situation, Yeah. And I didn't like, and I go, look, if you want an Italian guy, get Tony Danza. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just, like, this ain't me. Right. I didn't like the joke. They let me probably put about 3 jokes in there that I liked, and the rest was like, you know what, just do it this way, and then we'll reshoot it later. And I knew they wouldn't, So I don't mind sinking with something that I believe in. You know, like I'll go down with my own ship. But if somebody hands you a paper and they go, here, do this and make it funny, and we're going to put your name on there, like I don't want to go down in flames with somebody else think is funny. I'd rather go down with what I think is funny.
Totally. And besides, you got such a strong comedic character persona that if they don't write for you specifically, then it's not going to work out.
Yep.
So, and they should have taken advantage of that, who you are and your persona, because I mean, I would love to write something for you, because you're so funny, and it's such a specific persona that it's
like getting Stephen Wright and go, hey, talk real fast, like just you know what I mean? It's like that totally goes against what you were doing, like that.
Totally. I know when
something. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, you go ahead. You go ahead.
When I was doing Last Comic Standing, and I want to give a shout out to Bill Burr. Like when I was doing Last Comic Standing, I remember Roseanne Barr was one of the judges, and she was like kind of slamming me a little bit about my timing, like she was, you need to pick up the pace a little bit, and like blah blah blah. And Bill Burr, she put that on social media, and Bill Burr goes, hey, he goes, hey Roseanne, he goes, that's like telling Stephen Wright and Ray Romano to speed it up. Like he goes, Rocky's been killing in the clubs for all these years with that pace. Like that's comics know you know your own pace, you know what I mean? Right. And after that many years, you know what works and what don't.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but that's so typical Hollywood, right? Like they go, oh, we love you, and they go, but you know what? We're gonna make you, you're gonna be a used car salesman. You got nothing about cars. They go, you'll be fine. Just go in there and
Yeah, it's so silly because if they wrote something around you and your character, it would be so freaking hilarious.
Yeah. If they let you be you, that's your strength, right? Like if they
Oh my
let
God.
you be you, that's how you succeed, I think.
When I met you 10 years ago, we're not going to name who I was with, but I went there with somebody else who was doing comedy too. And I mean, I watched you every night for, what was it, 6 nights, twice, every night. And I would still laugh the last night. Like, you're that freaking hilarious. I've never done that for anybody else.
Oh, well, thank you, Grace.
For real. You're so funny. You're hilarious. So it's their loss.
As I'm sitting alone in my front room. I showed them.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, man. I think everything happens the way it happens.
Yeah, it's supposed to happen. And you never know. I'm serious. You can still get a development deal and it can be like the best.
Yeah. And you know what, Grace? You inspired me to do a podcast. Like I was never in that. Yeah. Like, and you helped me and you kept going, hey, come on, you could do this. And so I want to thank you for that. I'm getting it together. And I'm, I just got to pull the trigger. And, like I'm technically an idiot with all this stuff, but I'm learning. And
I want to make your fear public so that will get rid of. What are you so afraid of? Why is it not out there? Because it's not about you. It's about something that you have a relationship with, something that technology.
I'm gonna lay on the couch.
Your technology not good.
I don't know. You know what's so weird? There's just some like I could figure out like mechanically. I could figure out whatever, like how to put a motor together, or I used to work on cars, and I was never taught. I could just figure it out. Like I'm pretty good mechanically, but technology, it just short wires my brain. I remember one time, I think I was telling you this. My phone, when phones first came out, I was getting like so many calls and texts. I took my phone and threw it in the water. I threw it in a pool. Like I go, this, it's
that will show the phone.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It just short circuits me.
I told you I'd help you.
Okay.
So I'll help you with the technical. It's no easy.
Really?
Yes, we're going to say it publicly. So now you're committed.
Okay.
Helping you.
I really want to do this. I think it would be so much fun. Like to
make
people, and if I can get off the road a little bit and just like, do stuff from home and, make a little bit of money so I don't have to go out on the road, like it would, I think it would help me. And there's a lot of people like Joe Rogan, those guys, they got like crazy successful podcasts.
Absolutely. And I can totally see you doing that. So for everybody who's listening, Rocky is going to have a podcast or a webcast. We don't know yet, right? Very soon.
Is a web? Okay, here's my.
No, don't ask.
Is it a webcast?
This is a webcast.
Audio? Oh, okay.
Yes, this is a webcast because
this is video. We're doing video.
Video and audio, so it's a webcast.
What's the difference between a webcast and a podcast?
A podcast is no image. Now, you can also have image, like you can have video, like Joe Rogan does. With the mic, it's more like a different format, a different look.
Oh, I see.
So
I'm promoting things I don't even know what I'm promoting. So I'm having a webcast, not a podcast.
Yeah.
You're like, I drive a Chevy. You go, that's a Ford, you idiot. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Well, there you go, Grace. You see my edge. This is my knowledge of technology.
I know, but hey, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna be fine. Okay. You bought the lights, right? But you don't know how to
I have the microphone. I got the computer. I got everything. I have all the stuff. But here's the thing. I asked like 6 people and they go, no, go to Podbean. And then somebody goes, go to Patreon. And someone goes, no, do this. Like I'm hearing like 7 different places to go. And like, that's like, well, if one was good, wouldn't everybody recommend it? Like everybody goes, get Apple or get this or that. But nobody ever says one thing.
Well, that's the thing about this new world, social media and all these, and actually with Patreon and all the podcasts and everything. Everything changes all the time. So you really have to research what works and what format would work better for you. What is the best format for you? It might be a podcast instead of a webcast. We don't know. What distribution do you want to do? Do you want to distribute Patreon? Do you want to go to, I don't know, their OnlyFans or whatever? I mean, there's so many different venues, but OnlyFans.
Isn't like YouTube and Apple, like the big ones, are those better to go
Well,
to?
Patreon, what you do is people like subscribe to Patreon, and so you make money off of Patreon. They support the artists.
Mm-hmm.
And some people who are on Patreon, they put videos on YouTube, but they only put like a short, like 10 minutes, and the video is like an hour and a half.
Oh.
So it's like, if you want to watch more of this, then go to Patreon, and it's $5 to finish watching. So maybe that could be a really good format for you.
Oh, okay.
See?
I see. Now what?
No. Well, I already showed you how the lights go, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
So we got that down.
I can do that.
Right.
Okay.
Now you're gonna connect to your mic, and we're gonna figure distribution and the streaming. I can help you with it. It's so easy.
I'd like to do audio first, like for maybe the first few times, just to kind of get in, get comfortable and get in my space before we do video. Like that.
Okay.
Is that good?
That's totally good. Whatever.
And a lot of people start that way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can start with that, and then actually it could be a good thing, because then you're like, yeah, I've done 3 podcasts, and now you can see me, on a webcast, and you can charge a little more for the webcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I am full of ideas.
Okay, good. I like it. You're a smart cookie, Grace.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So are you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you do this to me.
I hope you edit this out. This is the uncomfortable part of our show. So you never told me this, Grace. What was the best show you ever had?
The best show I ever had?
Yeah, you told me about the worst one.
It was actually in Chicago, on Green Street. There's a theater. I can't remember the name. Theater for Performing Arts. And it was like there was like 500 people, and it was a Latino show, the funniest Latinas in America. And that one was like the most fun I had, and it was a Latino audience, so it's my people.
Yeah.
So I was very at home there, and it was amazing. It was just a great experience. I had so much fun.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah, that was the best I had.
That's so good. You know what makes me laugh is like you ever, like when there's people in the audience laughing, and when somebody has glasses on, like, and they're crying, like they're laughing so hard they're crying, and instead of taking their glasses off, they stick their finger in there like a little windshield wiper, like they'll they'll wipe away the tears. Like that makes me laugh from stage. And I'm like, why don't you just take your glasses off and wipe your eyes? But they always do that, and then I don't know why that makes me laugh. You've seen that, right? Like you've seen people do that. Yeah.
I know it's like quirks. I just laugh when people fall for some reason instead of my mom used to fall a lot, and she's like,
Is she really?
Crazy. Yeah. So she would be like,
I had a neurological disorder, and you're laughing at her.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. But my mom was hilarious. She would be like, hi, baby, how you bonk?
Oh, no.
Here. I'm like, oh, she's down. Okay.
Instead of helping her, you're laughing.
I would laugh so hard. Poor woman. Yeah, I know. I'm a bad daughter.
Actually, one of the first times I got taken home by the cops was I remember we turned this fire hydrant on, and here in Chicago in the summer we used to play in the fire hydrants. It was so hot out. That's how all the city kids would get cooled off. You play in the pumps. So the yellow ones, if I remember right, the yellow ones were high pressure pumps. Like they pumped out more than the red ones. So this cop came to shut off the pump, and I remember his shoes were real shiny, and he didn't want to get them wet. So he had his legs spread like really far apart, and he's trying to shut this pump off with a wrench, and it was stripped. So he kind of slipped, and he went right in front of the fire hydrant. It hit his stomach, and it blew him across the street backwards on his ass. Like he bounced. He went boom, boom, boom. And I was laughing so hard. All my friends took off. They all ran. And I'm standing there laughing, doubled over. And he just grabs me and throws me in a squad car. And he brings me home. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I got in trouble for laughing, pretty much. You know? So
I know.
I
What
understand.
other people's pain is funny. See, because I think, we laugh at other people's pain because, well, not pain, but like comical situations that are a little painful, because people laugh at our pain because we make it into comedy. See?
Yeah. And you know what's so funny? When I think comics laugh at other comics when they bomb, only because they know, like, we're not laughing at them.
It feels like,
yeah, we know how uncomfortable and how weird that is. Like, that's the worst thing, when a whole room full of people are just staring at you. You know? Yeah.
Not cute.
No. That's rough, man. That's what people don't understand. There's like rough parts of this job, you know? Yeah.
Everything, the traveling, you have to have thick skin and just do it because you love to do it.
Yeah.
What else? It's like, wow.
I remember when we were doing Last Comic, NBC, they sent us to a media class for a day, you know, about how to interact and all that with the public. And it said, like, this is how the internet is now. Like, no matter what you put, you can get up to 20% like negative feedback from people. Like, that's how miserable people are, and they're just sniping you from behind. You know, like, you can go, oh, we just had a little baby boy, and then people, they'll go, oh, why didn't you adopt? Or, oh, great, another mouth to feed in the world. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be people that do that, and then one, that's sad, that's awful that someone's got to piss on your parade. You know,
right?
And they said, like, don't engage those people, because then it just keeps going back and forth. Like, if they say it's like a tennis game. If you lay down your racket, there's no game. You know, like, don't play.
Right.
And shortly after that, I was doing a gig somewhere. I think it was in South Carolina. It was a little town I'd never been to before. And it was a great show. The show went great. And the next day, people were going, oh, that show was great last night. Like, hey, you should come see Rocky Laporte and blah, blah, blah. And some guy, I don't even know who he was. I don't know nothing about him. I never met him. He took the time to write. He goes, I wouldn't walk across the street for free tickets to see Rocky Laporte. Like, he posted, and I'm like, what did I do to this guy? And why would you take the time to, do that? Like, just
I feel like sometimes people just don't like you because you're awesome, in general. Like, somebody's awesome and they just can't handle so much awesomeness and they're jealous. So that's why they write that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Of course I'm right. I'm always right, Rocky.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes me sad. Like, I actually got off social media for a while because every time I wrote a joke, either someone would troubleshoot it or they would, like, I felt like I was trying to, it's like you give someone a gift and they go, I don't like that color. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's a shitty gift. Or how come it doesn't come with batteries? It's just like, like, I remember I wrote this joke last year. It was on the Bears, our quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. They had a thing at the bottom of the television that says Mitch Trubisky is ranked 33rd out of NFL quarterbacks. And I took a picture of that and I go, folks, we just broke history because there's only 32 teams in the NFL and he's ranked 33rd. I'm like, how could that? It's like coming in 8th in a 3rd place, 3-person race. And then some lady writes, oh, you idiot. I think they meant like all the quarterbacks total overall. And I'm like, I know that. Like, that was the joke, that he came in 33rd out of 30. But then it was just stuff like that I guess it just disheartened me a little bit. It just made me go, yeah, because it's like, why does somebody gotta, like, don't, they say if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it. Like, I'm trying to put a joke out there to make people laugh, and then someone's gotta shoot holes in it. You know what I mean? It's like, we're in trouble. I understand that. I'm not that stupid, but that was the whole joke, that he came in 33rd out of only 32 teams.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
So I just kind of wish that could stop, but I know that's probably never going to happen because there's so many angry people out there. But that's just like, most comics, like, we're trying to like when you write a joke. You go, I want to give this as a gift to a person. Mm-hmm. And then they just kind of I don't want to.
Yeah. I know. It is disheartening.
Yeah.
And social media has made it so easy for people to express how mean they are. So sad.
Where's that going to get us? As a society, just being mean to each other. Like, where's that going to get
Yeah.
us? You know what I mean? Like,
Look at the situation now. You can't even say anything because people will jump on you, from different sides. It's like you can't even have an opinion nowadays.
yeah.
Nobody respects opinions, I feel. And that's why I keep my mouth shut most
I know.
of the time.
And why
Yeah.
do you have to pick a side? Like, why can't you be in the middle? Like, or just go, I don't like either one of these things. I like something else. Like,
Right.
they feel if you don't pick a side, you're
Trash. I
Yeah.
know. It's like, okay. Yeah, I know. It's tough times.
Yeah.
And I think you and I were talking like all this lockdown and all this that's going on with politics and stuff. It's bringing out the best in some people and the worst in others.
Yeah.
Like there seems to be no middle ground. It's like one or the other.
I know. How are we going to fix that, Grace? More
I
ice
don't
packs.
know.
We need more ice packs. We need everybody to be cool.
Yes. They're losing their.
We'll give away ice packs at our show. If you come to the show, you get a free ice pack.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can fix it with your podcast. How about that?
I would like that.
There you go. We don't even have to. You don't even have to talk about it.
That's an audio thing, right?
You said you were going to start with audio and then webcast, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But a podcast is an audio thing.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So you feel more comfortable. You can start with that.
Yeah. In the beginning, I would like to do that.
Yeah. And we'll talk about, the distribution afterwards.
Okay.
Yay. Like yes, definitely. And I'm going to ask you one last question. What do you want to be known for?
Oh man!
Like damn, Grace.
Can't say that.
Yeah, what you can say?
Just like I cared about people. Like it made me happy to make people laugh. And just like it kills me that people aren't kind to each other. Like we got to be kind.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be our demise. You know that. Like if we're not kind.
I agree.
It's so funny. Somebody asked me what I was talking about, like how high health insurance is and stuff like that, and how high. And somebody asked me like what did they want it to say on my headstone? I want to say he had a high deductible. He had bad insurance.
Yeah, well, don't we all?
Yeah, right. So,
yeah.
Say it how it is.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. That's great. That's a wonderful thought. High deductible. So that answers the question beautifully. Thank you. All right. So we've been doing this for like an hour, not like an hour. This was so informative and so fun. And I heart you to the moon and back.
I love you too, Grace.
Oh.
Heart. In technical terms, that's what I'm learning. It means love, right? Like I heart.
Yes, I heart you.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I saw those bumper stickers like I heart my dog. I heart my German Shepherd.
Okay, Rocky. I love you, Rocky. Is that better?
No, I was just trying to say it. I'm trying to understand. I love you too, Grace. Thank you for being my friend. You're a good egg.
Thank you. You're awesome. And I would love to have you back. And you know what? I'm really going to help you with your podcast. I am determined.
Really? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think once it gets going, it'll be good. Grace, I have so many stories. Like, I've been on the road almost over 32 years. I've met so many people and so many things have happened to me. Like, I have great stories that I could share with people, just like about the business and just.
That's it.
Yeah.
Road stories.
Yeah.
That's your podcast.
3 decades. Yeah. I got a lot of stories on the road,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. Plus I want to give like tips. Like I want to give like tips and like have trivia questions and fan letters. Like I want fans to write me and I'll answer their things and I want to give away like like water and stuff like that. Oh my God. Ice packs.
Well,
be
I'll
great.
give you some.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yes. All right, Rocky. So thank you guys for listening and commenting. Thank you for all your comments. We're going to like them and love them later. Rocky and I will do that. And we will see you. I will see you next Sunday. And that's it for today. Thank you guys. Bye.
Nice seeing you, Grace.
Nice seeing you.